Welcome to the Two Bit Cipher. It's your boy D Brown, aka the Pettyologist, aka the Peace Protector. I got my man's with me,
All
the
the AKAs.
legendary C Edmund C Roy. What's up, baby? How
Hey,
you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm
You doing all
good.
right?
Trying to reach that legendary status. I'm
Trying to
doing
reach
good.
legendary? Hey, you a
I'm
legend in
trying
my
to
eyes.
reach
That's all
there.
that matters.
Hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
That's all that matters to me. Hey, if I say you a legend, you a legend.
And
You feel me?
and damn it, I'm a legend. I'll be one today for
Let's
sure.
go. Let's get into it, man. So today, let's get into surrounding yourself with people that want to see you succeed,
hmm
outside of your immediate family. Let's talk about
hmm
the importance of that.
Yeah, man.
And I have a curveball right off top. I know
Off
we didn't go
top.
through this in the
Okay.
production meeting.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
what is your idea of a friend? Let's talk. Let's go there.
Ooh.
Let's
Ooh.
go there. What do you think a friend is?
That's good, man. I think you know there's I feel like there's a lot of people having different interpretations of what a friend or friendship looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's I feel like it's one that most people would agree that somebody who cares about, you know, you succeeding, somebody who is, in your corner,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
doesn't seek out your friendship for their own benefit, you know, those are all factors. You know what I mean? Like, there's a
Yeah.
million factors that go into what a friend looks like. But to me, like, the people who I consider friends are people who are, one, honest, um,
Yep.
even when it's something I don't want to hear,
Absolutely.
and two, consistent. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Honest, consistent, and supportive. I
Mm-hmm.
guess if I had to put it in three things: honest, consistent, and supportive. Because usually, people who aren't your friends or people who stay on the, surface level, they're lacking one of those things. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? They're
Yeah.
either sometimey, or they're, telling you what you want to hear all the time. And that, to me, isn't really a friend. That's just somebody who, maybe just wants companionship, or wants, the camaraderie of being around you, but doesn't necessarily want to be your friend, because that
Mm-hmm.
takes sacrifice and intentionality.
Bro, it
So
does.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I
So switch that to you. I want to know your thoughts on that. That's a
Yeah,
good
so
question.
for me, I am, I'm a like a compartmentalizing type person, right? So for
Mm-hmm,
me, I
mm-hmm,
have like acquaintances, friends, and close friends, right?
mm-hmm,
My
mm-hmm.
acquaintances are people if I see around, hey, what's up? Cool.
Yeah,
Like, hey, how you doing? Okay.
yep.
Friends, I would say I talk to, every now and then. If I needed something, I could probably call and say, hey, what's up? Let's go grab something to eat. But
Right.
for me, my
Mm-hmm.
close friends go right to what you said. The
Yep.
people that are going to tell you, what you don't want to hear and what you want to hear. The people, like I said at the beginning, the people that are going to push you to succeed, that want to see you
Mm-hmm.
succeed and
Mm-hmm.
will
Mm-hmm.
challenge you, you know, to get there, because I think, in
Yeah.
our group, I think, we know kind of our, not our full potential, but we know a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. And,
Mm-hmm.
if somebody's not there, I go back to, what you hit me with one time. I sent
Mm-hmm.
you a piece of content and you said you're wittier than that. Just little
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had to think about it
Yeah.
like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Like I said, whether you want to hear it or not, because for me, I'm a perfectionist. So if I
Yeah.
do something, I think that motherfucker's good.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And then you and then you
Absolutely.
get, well, you know what? You're wittier than that. And it's like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
sometimes you need to hear that
You
because,
do. You
your
do.
friends know you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. 100%. And I think it goes back to, that honesty, and that honesty can sometimes be blunt, and sometimes it can hit you right in your gut, and, hit your ego a little bit. Uh, but
Hit
a
your ego
friend is
heavy.
somebody, yeah, a friend is somebody that you give permission to do that, though. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because
Mm-hmm.
you would have to, because you're going to have to do that for them at times. You're going
Mm-hmm.
to have to have that conversation with them that nobody else can have. And you're gonna have to pull them aside when they're doing too much, or they're flying off the handle. Like, you're gonna have to be that friend that's like, hey, man, you're the bad thing about this situation is you. Like, you need to check yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And only a friend can do that. Obviously family can do that sometimes, depending on what type of family member it is, but a friend is a person that's gonna have to do that more often.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear
So
you. I hear you 100%. I hear you
mm-hmm,
100%. What
mm-hmm.
about, let's touch quickly on athletically. You and I are
Yeah.
both former college athletes. We didn't play
Hmm.
together, but you know, for
Hmm.
me, I look at
Hmm.
Q. You know, Q was
Hmm.
always the
Hmm.
one to push me. You know what?
Yep.
You gotta try a little harder, right?
Hmm.
You gotta try a little
Hmm.
harder. I know
Yeah.
how you can play, and you're just
Yeah.
not doing that right now. And for a person like
Hmm.
me, I needed that because I had, you
Yeah.
know, the natural athleticism. I could go out there and go 70% and be like,
Hmm.
oh, you're really good. But then
Yeah.
Q's like, no, 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 no,
That ain't it.
no, 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 that
Yeah.
ain't it.
Yeah.
I know,
Hmm.
you know what I mean?
I
So
know what you
in
can
that
do.
aspect,
Yeah, man. See, I had a, it's funny in high school, and especially in athletics, I would, my dad was my head coach. You can actually see it in this picture. He's sitting right in the middle.
hey, look
Um,
at him.
yeah, yeah. So my dad being in my corner took away from me having a lot of teammates that were like that were like the cue for you, because
Mm-hmm.
my dad was that person for me. Um, I didn't get that until probably college, where teammates who were better than me, because in high school I was one of the better better
Yeah.
players, so it wasn't a
Yeah.
whole lot of people who could just check me.
Right.
I was the coach's kid, so people were scared to check me anyway.
You already
um
know.
so so nobody was saying nothing to me until my dad did. But when I got to college, and it was people who were ahead of me and seniors who were in position that I wanted to get to, uh that held me accountable, that were like, hey man, this
Mm-hmm.
isn't your best, this isn't the best that you can do, you aren't going as hard as you can go. uh, and my roommates pushed me, Kevin and Stuck, who were both on the team. We
Mm-hmm.
just challenged each other. Each
Right.
practice, like, hey, I'm going to get the most steals, I'm going to get the most
100%.
deflections, I'm going to beat you in this next sprint. So like those types of things pushed me more than I was pushed in high school, because I always had the standard that my dad would set for me. But I
Mm-hmm.
think the funny thing that I think in athletics is, like, if you are really good, like you're one of the better players at pretty much every level that you've played at. It takes somebody special to challenge you, to
Mm-hmm.
like really
It
like
does.
get up in your face and not let you off the hook. And it takes a lot to recognize that you need that, especially
100%.
if you're good. Like, I'm one of the best players, I don't need anybody in my face telling me blah 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 blah
Right.
blah.
That's what I was gonna
But
say.
you
Like,
really
you know, it's like
do.
if Q were to hit me, I'd be like, you know, I'm better than you. Right. I'm not
Yeah.
worried about it. I'm better than you. But even then, Q, I don't care. I don't
Yeah.
care. I
Yeah.
know what you can do.
Yeah, and it's
You
got to
know
be
what I
somebody
mean?
you respect
You
too,
have to
like
respect
somebody
them.
that's
Yep.
gonna bring their A game just like you. Because if their only job is to hold you accountable and not hold themselves to a high standard, it's hard to follow that person.
Hard.
You
Right.
know, that's
Hard.
really hard. And that was what I was going to ask you. Here's my curveball.
Mhm.
How do you select who's in that circle for you? Like, who's in that circle of people that is going to be, the people who hold you accountable in your trust circle? Because not
Mm-hmm.
most people don't have a huge trust circle. Usually their trust
No.
circle is relatively small.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you select who should be in that circle?
I go based on just interaction, right? Based
Mm-hmm.
on, like, for you, for example, we became friends late, just a
Mm-hmm.
few years
Mm-hmm.
ago. And it was
Mm-hmm.
Rail was like, hey, this is a cool dude. And me off
Right.
top, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I mean, that's
Right.
just me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really care. But Rail was
Right.
like, it's a
Whatever.
cool dude. For
Yeah.
me, if I can have, if I can be myself around you, number one, because
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
I'm an individual.
Mm-hmm.
And just our interactions, like with the feedback, I go on
Yeah.
feedback. Like, if I talk to you, we're engaging. Then
Mm-hmm.
also, it doesn't have to necessarily be intelligence, really,
Right.
but like
Right.
just our conversation. If we're immersed in conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can tell if somebody really cares for you. And then over time, like, I think for us, it came rather quickly. Like, it
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
you know
Mm-hmm.
what? And I'm an energy and I'm a vibe type person. First, I might
Mm-hmm.
even go vibe first. Like, we can
Right.
sit here and
Right.
talk. I'm like, okay, this is cool for now.
Mm-hmm.
We're cool. I'm not gonna do what I normally do, just say, all right, I'm done. But then
Right.
over time, we start talking professional. We're
Mm-hmm.
fathers, right? We start
Right.
talking kids. Like, okay, we're
Mm-hmm.
aligning. And then once we align, I can, let my trust go a little bit. I can say, all right,
Yeah.
cool, let's see what's up. And then you start kicking
Mm-hmm.
it. You start
Mm-hmm.
talking more, you start playing, and then I think it just grows over time. But for me, it takes a minute. Unless you're
Yeah.
like I said, for you, you're an anomaly in
Yeah.
my book, because it
Yeah.
doesn't happen like that. But
Right. Right.
like I
Right.
said, we aligned on a lot of different things. And
Yeah.
then it just
Yeah,
became,
man.
and for me, younger me, I didn't really, I didn't open up.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
understand the importance of opening up until like right around the time we met, when I kind of
Hmm.
really started
Hmm.
thinking about who I was and like, hey, you know what? You're gonna have to maybe let some people in at some point in time. You
Yeah.
got your couple, but maybe there's some more
Hmm.
people out there that you can
Yeah.
open up. And that's the other part of it. If I
Yeah.
open up a little bit and then I feel comfortable there, now we're really onto something. I'm like, because I really
Right.
opened up to this person, which I never do, I never have. And this
Right.
person accepts it. Acceptance is
Yeah.
huge for me
Yeah.
because I've learned a lot of lessons
Yeah.
along my
Tough ones.
journey. I've learned some
Yeah.
tough lessons. So when you can
Hmm.
feel
Hmm.
comfortable opening up on
Yeah.
really personal things, and that person is just like, okay, cool. Because you
Yeah.
can get judged. You can
Yeah.
get
Real quick.
judged on a
Real
lot of
quick.
things real fast. And that's part
That's
of it, for
100%.
me.
That's really interesting to hear that from you, because that process of opening up is usually like the opposite for people. Like when, as you've gotten older, you've felt a little bit more comfortable with selecting who to open up to,
Mm-hmm.
even though as most folks get older, and even with us, I think at times your circle of trust gets smaller and the circle of people that you're willing to open up to gets smaller. So like
Mm-hmm.
finding someone, at our age that you can open up to and be open and honest with, because you're a bit of an anomaly for me too. Like I don't see myself developing a ton of friends
Mm-hmm.
anymore. not
Mm-hmm.
not
Yeah,
not that I won't,
absolutely.
but I'm not
Right.
out here seeking
Not
friendship. I have the
searching.
people in my
Mm-hmm.
life that I need to have in my life. So it's interesting that at the ages we are, that we're willing to be vulnerable and open, and and especially because that's a thing that amongst black men sometimes gets lost
Man, it
as you
gets
get
lost
older.
for
You
real. I
start feeling
think.
like I gotta close off. You don't gotta
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that.
I think, even coming down, travel down like a mental health route, for
Hmm.
me,
Hmm.
I never knew the importance of opening up
Hmm.
until late. So that's
Right.
kind of my
Right.
switch, right? For me,
Yeah.
I was always the one to just be like, I'm closed off. I'm happy because I have the crazy ability to just convince myself that I'm happy,
That I'm
even though
having.
I'm
Yeah.
not,
Yeah. Yeah.
even though
Hmm.
I'm not. And
Hmm.
I did that since I was a kid until you start really learning yourself and growing. And it's like, you know
Hmm.
what? You need to have people that you can open up with, because with just like Q and Rail and like Noah, you're only getting so many perspectives.
Yeah.
Like having open perspectives from different people is crucial. Like for
Hmm.
you, like I
Hmm.
lean on you probably more than you think, right? I'm
Hmm.
I'm always, and I'm a very analytical type person. So when
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
talk, I'm analyzing all day.
Right.
And it's like
Right.
you have a certain set of skills, right? If you want to call them
Hmm.
skills, you have a certain, I don't know if skills is the right one, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
talk to Rail, I get a different perspective. I talk to you,
Hmm.
different perspective. Q, different
Hmm.
perspective.
Yeah.
It's those things that I'm like, I need this perspective, right? It's like
Yeah. You do.
I need this perspective. I
You
can
do.
go get Q's perspective, but that's not the same as yours, right? That's
Yeah.
I'm going to get
Yeah.
something different, and then I can go back to what you asked, earlier. Somebody's perspective on life is huge
Yeah.
for me. Like if we
Huge.
align, like socially, whatever,
Hmm.
not necessarily politically, but socially, just as fathers,
Hmm.
like those things mean a lot. If I can
They
say, hey,
do.
you know what, I'm struggling here. Well, here's my
Yeah.
perspective. you
Yeah.
know
Yeah, man.
and
Yeah.
that's, I think it's
I
crucial for
agree.
it's definitely crucial for my mental health. But I didn't know that till late. I didn't
Yeah.
know that
Yeah.
having people to open up to, where I can just call somebody, because I would
Yeah.
never call anybody. I'm not calling
Right.
shit. I'm
Right.
just going to
Right.
sit here and figure it
I'm not picking
out.
up the phone.
I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
picking up
Yeah.
the phone. But now it's like, if I ever, you already know, if I ever needed, so hey, Chad, we
Yeah.
got to talk.
Yeah. We
I
gotta have a
need to talk, and I
conversation.
need to talk to you specifically because I
Hmm.
know your perspective. I can
Hmm.
go
Hmm.
somewhere else and get it, but it's not going to be what I want.
Yeah.
I
It's not
need
the
your
same.
perspective in this area. So for
Yeah.
me, that's crucial for my mental health.
That's critical. That's critical. I mean, and it goes back to what you're saying, as far as, having people in your corner that are going to challenge you, support you, what real friendship is. Like to me, like that's why it's harder to open up as you get older, because that group of friends that you have that have,
Mm-hmm.
been tried, tested, and true, like that's irreplaceable. Like you got to have
Irreplaceable.
that group or that core friend or friends that are always going to be in your corner. And as you get older, to me, that's where it's most critical that those people come into play. Because as you're younger, you're still trying to figure out what you want to do, like where
Correct.
you want to
Yep.
go, and what do I really want to put my heart and passion into. But like once you figured that out, it's even more important to have people who are like, yeah, go do that, do that. You're gonna crush that.
Mm-hmm.
You doing TikTok, you doing podcasts, like as at 20-year-old Brown is still trying to figure out, is this something I really,
Right.
want to do? I'm not
100%.
sure,
Even 30-year-old Brown, like,
yeah, yeah, right, right,
I was
right.
late
Yeah. But
to
as
the
you get
game.
to that age where, like, if I don't have folks behind me, this dream might die. This thing might
Yeah.
just fizzle out.
It'll fizzle out.
That's a crucial thing. Like that, I see so many people who have great ideas, but then the people who are in their circle aren't supporting it. They're
Just not
either
supporting
grasping to
it.
try to pull them down. Oh,
And
you're
it
not gonna
doesn't
make
take
it. Oh, it's not that
much.
big a deal. And
It doesn't.
you know,
What I've learned too, my bad, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, you good.
what I've learned too is that it doesn't take much to detour you from something you want to do. If somebody's
Mm-hmm.
not in your corner and
Mm-hmm.
you throw out something like, hey, this is what I want to do, and you get a funny reaction, hey,
Man,
good luck.
it's
Good
good.
luck.
It's gone.
Good
It's
luck
gone.
doing that. Good
Yeah,
luck. And
it's
that was,
it's totally gone.
for me, let's switch into professionally. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I was like, hey, I want to do this social media thing. At the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, it was never any, nah, that's stupid.
Nah,
Because once you hear that, it's a
yeah,
done deal. Especially
it's
I'm
tough.
already questionable because I'm that person that wasn't big into social media until I was like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I think I can help people out. I don't know how to
Yeah,
do it, but in this day and age, social media is probably your best avenue. And
no
if
question.
somebody would have said that's for kids or that's child's play or it's not for
Yep.
you, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Not on the
No.
podcast. I can tell you that.
Mm-mm. No, not at all. And that's the thing. Like, if your inner circle is not, your cheerleaders, then, and the thing I want, because as I say that, I'm thinking how it's going to be interpreted by other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's not having a bunch of yes people, right? That's not
One hundred
having a
percent.
bunch of people who are like, yeah, rah, rah, this is going to be good no matter what. Your inner circle has to be a mix of people who are going to support and challenge. So
Mm-hmm.
if you bring up TikTok, you bring up social media, and that's something you want to pursue, then we have to be challenging. We have to say, hey, have you thought about this? Have you taken
Right.
this into consideration?
Right.
But we can't be deterrents. We can't be those people that are like, man, I don't think that's going to work. If you've
Mm-hmm.
decided that that's the avenue you want to go down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, yeah, no,
yeah,
no, no question. I think kind of I was just thinking when you said that, I feel like that's how people get bumped out of your circle too.
no question,
The
no
older you
question.
get, especially as frugal as I am, I don't know if that's the right word, but we're gonna throw it in
Right?
there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
With who I am and my energy, it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
take much for you to be gone, especially at
No.
this stage. Like if
Mm-mm.
you're not, like you said, it doesn't have to be just yes, but if that lack of interest is there, then I have a lack of interest for you. I talk about this all the time, matching energy. Like if
Yeah,
your energy
huge,
isn't
huge.
matching mine, you're out of here these days.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
out of
See ya,
here. Like,
see
hey,
ya.
I want to do this, and you're just, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Right.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. With
that.
it,
Yeah, we can't
we can
have
only
that. Can't
have
have that.
we can only have three of those conversations to
Right.
where that energy is funny, and then you got to go back. You can go down a level. I'll move people. Hey, tell you what, I'll move somebody. You already know from
Real quick.
recent events. I'll
Real
move
quick.
somebody in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Mm-hmm.
you're done because
Yeah.
at this stage of the game, we're older. I feel like sometimes I wake up, I'm older now. Like, damn, what
Mm-hmm.
happened? Like I'm
Yeah.
older now. I don't have a lot of time
Mm-hmm.
to waste. Like all
No.
my days I'm trying to make them as productive as possible. And if
Absolutely.
somebody's in there that's not into that, whatever, that's cool. But
Right.
I got to talk to somebody else. Like we
Right.
can
You
just
can't be
talk
on this
once a
train.
week. You
You
can't you
can't be on the
can't
train.
be in this party.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
You're too old for
Unfortunately,
that.
it's
Yeah, it's
easier to remove people than to add people at this point of
mm-hmm.
our lives. Like
Yeah.
it's we're not at a point where adding people is a normal thing. But finding people, then that's the other thing I wanted to ask, coming from a inner circle standpoint as well. How do you know when there's someone in your circle that shouldn't be, or maybe when it's time to remove somebody from that circle?
I think for me, it's you know, like our interactions again. I go on our
Mm-hmm.
interactions. Like if we have a couple, like three, because I remember everything. So if we have
Mm-hmm.
one, I'm like, damn, that was funny. I'm gonna let it slide. And
Right.
then, you know, like for us, we talk every day. So you have a
Mm-hmm.
gauge, you have a gauge every day. So you're
Yeah.
gonna get a gauge really quick
Yep.
as to what's going on. And then I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like, three times, we're done. Like if I come to you and it's I get a weird vibe, again, I'll go back to vibes.
Mm-hmm.
If I get a weird
Mm-hmm.
vibe, I'm
Yeah.
gonna evaluate it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
evaluate it. And then for me, I'm gonna sit there and think about it. Like, hey, is this something that we're gonna continue to do every day? Or is this
Yeah.
something that this person is going to have to, go on the back burner,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No
you
question.
know?
No question. I think that stemming from that, I think it is I totally agree for one. That vibe and that
It's
feel
the
you get from
vibe. It's
somebody
the it's
is
the
very
vibe.
difficult. It's hard to describe, but you just
It's
know.
very hard
Like
to describe, but
just you just have
your
that feeling.
intuition knows. Yeah.
No question. But I also think it is and this is something I tell people a lot is like, is that person does that person have a skill or a character trait or an ability that you don't have? If they do, then that's somebody you probably want to keep close by. Um, then on top of that, is that person inspiring? Like,
Right.
does that person, is there something that that person does or something about that person that inspires you? Because if it doesn't, then I don't know. Like for me, it's difficult to keep those types of people in your circle because they're not doing anything for you.
No, like
Like
I
they're
said, we're
not,
older now. Like you
yeah,
said,
they're not,
20s are
yeah,
different. We can do that in
yeah.
our 20s, but I was gonna throw this out at you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so
Mm-hmm.
those people in our 20s, why aren't they
Mm-hmm.
our friends anymore? Like, what
Mm,
happens? Is it on the scale that we just talked about? Like, you're still
mm,
figuring stuff out. You know what I
mm-hmm.
mean? What happens to
Mm-hmm.
those people that you go back 20 when you're 20s? This was my good friend.
Yeah.
Now we're not.
Now we're
What?
not.
What
Yeah.
happens? You know,
I think
what
it's
happens?
that's a good question, man. I think you could answer that a lot of different ways. It could be different walks of life. It could be, proximity. This person moved. It could be this person got married and
Sure,
you're still
absolutely.
single. But
Yeah.
I think uh when it comes down to it, it's your whatever your goals are, like whatever your
100%.
trajectory is. Um,
100%.
and if they have, and not necessarily if they have the same ones, but if they have goals as well, like
Mhm.
sometimes your drive and your motor um is going to take you in a place that your former friends aren't going to be able to go.
Yeah.
um I know for me, when it was time to like buckle down and be a father,
Mhm.
because that was when I really started weeding people out of my life. Like
Mhm.
when I had Amari 10 years ago, I was like, yeah, there's some people who are going to be able to be on this trajectory, this dad professional person trajectory that I'm going on,
Mhm.
especially in addition to my faith. You know, those three things are the most important thing: my family, my
Mhm.
faith, my job. Like
Mhm.
so, if you aren't on track with that, or if you're not feeling that, or if you aren't pursuing similar things, then we're probably not going to be as close. We're just going to kind of drift apart, and that's okay. Some people are
Yeah.
only supposed to be in your life for a season, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I'm gravitating towards people who have that similar mindset. Like I
Mhm.
have these similar goals. I have these similar things going on in my life. I can relate to that, uh, because that grind is gonna you're gonna find out a lot about your inner circle when you're grinding,
One
like towards
man,
towards your goal.
100%. I never
Mm-hmm.
really thought about that till you said it. If
Mm-hmm.
I go back to my 20s, I didn't have any goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when
Mm-hmm.
you don't have any goals, you don't really have any reason to remove anybody. You don't
Nope.
have any reason to, especially when you guys, not necessarily grew up, but went through
Mm-hmm.
college together, drinking,
Mm-hmm.
partying. You're like, yes, these are my peoples. But
These my
then,
cool. Yeah, they're
yeah,
cool.
but
Yeah,
then
these
as
my boys.
start, for me, even outside of goals, for me, when I started just evaluating myself,
Mm-hmm.
are these people just right for me? Right.
Right.
Even outside of goals, like that's to me,
Yeah.
that's tough
Mm-hmm.
because I was always a person, I'm super friendly. These are my peoples, people that have helped me in
Yep.
my I hold on to that. But then
Yep.
when you evaluate, you're like, damn, is this person for you? Like sit
Yeah.
down and ask yourself, is this person for you?
It's a good
Regardless of
question.
goals. Now, goals are
Right.
huge, but
Right.
regardless, is this person's personality for you? Like, even for the person to be like, you know what? Let's go out and drink, right?
Mm-hmm.
At some point in
Mm-hmm.
time, that's not good. It's not good for me because I've
Mm-mm.
had drinking problems in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So even something like that,
Yeah.
instead
Yeah.
of saying let's go hoop, let's go drink. Like if
Yeah.
you start thinking like, you know what? I don't necessarily want to do that. I
I
don't
don't
want
want
to
to do
go
that.
to lunch and drink anymore. But that
Right.
person still does. And it's
That person
like,
still does.
well,
Yeah.
damn,
Yeah.
and then you feel bad, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm on that anymore. I drank from 20 to 27. Like
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
30, we're starting to change just a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just people's,
It's different.
so lifestyle, let's say
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle, people's lifestyle can
Mm-hmm.
push you away too. Especially when
Yep.
you become, like you said, like when you become a father, you start
Mm-hmm.
wanting to slow down instead of speed up. Some people still want to go 1,000 miles an hour.
Things change, man.
I don't want to go
Things
1,000 miles an
change.
hour anymore. I want to go
Nah,
1 mile an
man.
hour. I'm going
Slow
one
this
mile an
mark
hour,
down a little
bro.
bit.
I'm going. I'm idling. I want to
Man,
idle, and
no
then I
question.
think a lot of that was just lifestyle because I had a crazy lifestyle,
Hmm.
and some people don't want to let that go. A lot of
They
people don't
don't,
want to let
man.
that lifestyle go, and like, well,
And
all right,
people
you
who
don't want to
fell
let
in
it
love with
go. Cool.
you during that phase of your life are hard to keep around because that's not a permanent phase of your
It's
life.
not
Like
permanent at all.
that's the thing.
As
There's a
much as
lot
you
of people
want it
that,
to be, like
yeah,
people,
that's
and
not,
I feel like that's where people kind of struggle. Like
yeah.
you want it to be that you want to still go out and drink and meet people and party.
Hmm.
Nah,
Hmm. Nah, man. Nah,
number
not if
one,
you're
my
really
body can't
grinding
handle
towards
it.
something. You know what I
Right?
mean? Like if you feel like you've reached all your goals and there's nothing else that you need to climb towards, then party away, drink it up,
Yeah.
But most people, I'd say majority of people uh are not there.
Mm-mm.
They haven't reached the pinnacle of where they want to reach. And if you are reaching that or trying to reach that, you don't got time for that shit.
You just don't have
Like you
time.
just don't.
You don't have
That
time,
stuff
and then
has to
people
be
get mad at
removed.
you, right? People get mad
Yeah.
at you. Like
Yeah.
that's
Like
the
what
other
happened to
part.
you?
If you get mad at me because of a decision, I talk about this all the time in my content. If
Mm-hmm.
you get mad at me for me just wanting to change or me just making a decision not to do something, you only get
Mm-hmm.
a couple of those too. You only get a
Mm-hmm.
couple,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because
Yeah,
now you're
man.
just now. Well, I'm not. I don't want to do this. I don't want
Yeah.
to go. I'll catch you in a mood where I want to
Mm-hmm.
go out.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Exactly. Those folks that attach themselves to that version of you are easy to remove.
easy.
Those folks. Oh, you knew me when I was bar hopping and when I was
Hmm.
drinking every weekend and partying.
And
Uh,
people hold you to that too.
Man, they
People
hold you
don't.
like, man, what
People they
happened to
hold you
you?
like,
What
man, what
happened to the
happened to you? What do you
fun?
mean? What
And
happened to me? Damn it, I'm
yeah,
37 years
bro,
old,
I'm
35
grown.
years
I'm
old.
a
What do you mean?
grown
What
ass
happened? My
man. I'm a
daughter is
grown ass
18
man. That's
years
what happened.
old. What are you
Right,
talking about? Like,
man.
what's going
Mm-mm,
on? That
mm-mm,
man. People just can't stand it because you used to have fun.
mm-mm.
You used to
Mm-hmm,
kick it. You used
mm-hmm.
to party and shit was carefree. Now
Nah,
I'm the homebody, right?
yeah, man.
I went from the life of the party to the homebody. Like that's
Yeah,
just a drastic change. Like I
it's
was
the way it
always
goes.
that jumping around, dancing, like the
Hey,
life. Like I wanted to be the life and make everybody
yup,
laugh. That shit.
yup.
No, no,
Nah, none,
no,
none of that.
no.
None of
I go to a
that,
party. If
man.
I go to a party now, I'm sitting down on the couch. I'm
No
watching what's on
question.
this
I'm sitting
TV.
down.
We're chilling, talking. I'm not up doing a thing.
Nothing, nothing. I'm chilling, man. And it's because that's just a thing I'm doing that day. That's not who I am,
Exactly.
and that's the
Exactly. That's
thing
just what I
that
choose to
people
do
don't
that
get. And you
day.
start figuring that out more as you get
Hmm.
older. Like this isn't who I am. This is just
Yeah.
what I'm doing. This is
Right.
temporary.
Right.
This
That
is
gave me
not
another
a
idea for us too.
yeah.
Next podcast or something about introversion, about being
Yeah.
introverts, because that just
I
reminded me
love
of
that.
something about being an introvert. Like,
Oh man.
this is just what I chose to do today, right?
Yep.
Don't
Yep.
hold me to this.
Yeah.
You know
No
what I mean?
question. This
Don't
isn't
hold me to
permanent.
this
This isn't permanent. This is
at
temporary.
all. At
No
all.
question. No
Yeah, for
question.
sure, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
it looks like
man.
we're running out of time here. This was
Yes,
great.
sir.
This
Yes,
was a good
sir.
one. I appreciate this one. You got anything else on the table? We only got a couple minutes.
Man, no, man, this was good,
This
man.
was
Good,
good.
good, good rich convo. I
Man,
appreciate it.
good. I'm feeling good about this one.
Yes,
Sometimes I don't
sir.
be feeling good about the but yeah, so all right, let's go ahead and wrap this up, man. If anybody
Bet.
who's listening, if you like this, please like, subscribe, share. You know, I got a merch store. Check out the merch store. The link is in the
Definitely.
bio. All types of stuff. The Peace
Definitely.
Protector. Shout out to my man C. We
Yes,
out of
sir.
here. All right.
Later.
Yep. Holla.